Grace Osebruwa Nonyeli, Eden God's next tea Boronine, Ojas and God's Buma forgive Jesu. Maria Jason,
guys, like, subscribe, and share. Like, subscribe, and share. Right, thank you.
Naju Odibowani ko Sebruwa. Ekene Maria, Egypt na Grace Osebruwa Nonyeli, Eden God's next tea Boronine, Ojas and God's Buma forgive Jesu. Maria Jason, Okwe Melaro, Ekene Maria, Egypt na Grace Osebruwa Nonyeli, Eden God's next tea Boronine, Ojas and God's Buma forgive Jesu. Maria Jason, Yabalanya yo onne nketu diaso. Ayo. Aina yogi uchuku kirinye gwasa imodai. Kai bunde anja butelu sema. Wemali wala rupiste mwari. Sina afia nubia. Webata no sina mbite na hoya. Sina Christi jimenani. Amen. Otito dirina na mwana monso. Otito dirina na mwana monso. Otito dirina na mwana monso. Kabulo bindini nekwere no galaga. Kabulo bifazuri kenando kwa. Amen.
Onye nwe anyị nọnyere ụnụ ka Chineke ji ike niile gọzie ụnụ nna na nwa na mmụọ nsọ.
Ekpere a bịara gị site na nkwado ndị Love Bite Foods and Beverages Limited Nnobi, ndị na-alụpụta Love Bite Bread nọ na nọmba 1 Nwosu Mmaduka Close, Umuru Nnobi, 081 49 82 82 54.
Listen to news updates on Ebonadi 103.5 FM immediately after Angeles 6 o'clock a.m. and 6 o'clock p.m. weekdays. Stay tuned to be updated, to be informed. News updates, live reports. Ebonadi FM breaks the news with actualities.
I believe that people are hoping for a new Nigeria.
You can as well listen online via mixlr.com/GistFM.
Good evening and welcome to Abona, the 103.5 FM news update. Today, Friday, the 12th day of May 2023. And the time is 4 minutes past the hour of 6. Martin Efanshuku Ekezie is my name. The headlines. Court orders Anambra to release officials indicted by EFCC for corruption probe. Particulars of Kogi, Bayelsa, Imo governorship candidates out today. INEC. Women protest against harmful widowhood practices in Anambra. Ebonyi University urges striking staff to embrace dialogue. Okozo officers raid Anambra bush where gunmen sue police, army uniforms. Florida rejects Holocaust ed textbooks in clampdown on woke instructions. Now, details. Court orders Anambra to release officials indicted by EFCC for corruption probe. The Federal High Court sitting in Oka, Anambra State, has ordered the Anambra State government to release its officials accused by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, of misappropriation of public funds. The court also dismissed a suit filed by the Anambra State government challenging the EFCC's power to investigate its finances, describing it as factually and forensically lacking in merit. A statement by EFCC spokesperson Wilson Owajaren, Justice Dimba, stated that the EFCC has constitutional powers to investigate any act of economic and financial crime in any part of the country, stressing that neither the authorities of a state House of Assembly nor Auditor General of a state preclude the Commission from performing its mandate as contained in the Constitution. The state government had approached the court presided over by Justice Nnamdi Dimba to determine whether under the federal system of government, which the constitutional doctrine of separation of powers, the appropriation, disbursement, and or administration of funds belonging to a state is subject to investigation by the EFCC, being an agency of the federal government. In a suit number FHC AWK CS 22 2022 filed by Government of Anambra State, first plaintiff, and Attorney General of Anambra State, second plaintiff, against the EFCC, first defendant, and Attorney General of the Federation, second defendant. The plaintiff sought resolutions of the following 8 years under the federal system of government established by Section 2 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, and the doctrine of separation of powers established and provided by Section 4, 5, and 6 thereof. The appropriation, disbursement, or administration of funds belonging to the government of a state is subject to investigation by the first defendant as an agency of the federal government. Whether the power of the first defendant as an agency of the federal government is not restricted to matters set out in the exclusive legislative list contained in Part 1 of the second schedule to the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, whether from a community reading of Section 80, 120, 121, 125, 126, 128, and 129 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. The second defendant can absorb the constitutional power and function of the House of Assembly as a state to conduct investigation into the appropriation, disbursement, or administration, management of the public fund accounts of the government of the state. Particulars of Kogi, Bayelsa, Imo governorship candidates out today. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, said it will publish the personal particulars of candidates for the November 11 governorship election in Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo states. INEC National Commissioner and Chairman of its Information and Voter Education Committee, Mr. Festus Okoye, disclosed this in a statement yesterday in Abuja. The statement read, Nigerians may recall that on October 25, 2022, the Commission released the timetable and schedule of activities for the three off-cycle governorship elections in Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi states holding on November 11, 2023. Political parties conducted their primaries as required by law and uploaded the names and personal particulars of their candidates and running mates to the INEC candidate nomination portal by the deadline of 6 p.m. on May 5th, 2023. All the 18 political parties have nominated candidates for the Kogi governorship election and 17 parties for Bayelsa and Imo states. All the political parties sponsoring candidates for the three elections have submitted the duly completed forms EC9 containing personal particulars supported by sworn affidavits, as well as EC9B containing the names of their candidates. As required by Section 29, subsection 3 of the Electoral Act 2022, the Commission shall publish the personal particulars of the candidates in the state headquarters and the local government offices in the three states on May 12, 2023. We appeal to Nigerians to scrutinize the list, in particular, any aspirant who participated in his or her party's primaries with reasonable grounds to believe that the information provided by the candidate is false can challenge the nomination at the Federal High Court as provided in Section 29, subsection 5 of the Electoral Act 2022. It added. Women protest against harmful widowhood practices in Anambra. A group of women have kicked against harmful cultural practices which hamper the well-being and dignity of widowed women in Anambra State. The women protested in Oka, the state capital, on Thursday, May 11th. The protesters, led by the chairperson of the Agency on Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act in Anambra, Hope Okoye, demanded that the state government punish those perpetrating acts that violate the rights of widows. They gathered at the Children, Sexual and Gender-Based Violence Court in Oka and held placards with inscriptions such as "Allow our widows some peace," "Stop all obnoxious laws and harmful widowhood practices in Anambra," among others. The women demanded an end to rituals that coerce widows to drink the water with which their spouses were battered and prepared for burial. While addressing the press, Okoye pointed out the need for government to pay attention to the plight of widows and abolish the practices. She said there is a need for the girl child and women to be protected from abusive cultural norms. We demand that government ensures justice is served on perpetrators of unpleasant widowhood practices against the girl child, women, and widows, irrespective of their social status. The practice is widespread as it has been observed that several parts of Anambra still perform the ritual, she said. There have been calls for the government to make legislation to protect and empower widows in Nigeria as they are often susceptible to traditional rituals that violate their human rights. The World Bank estimates that 1 in 10 widows lives in extreme poverty globally. According to the organization, women are also much less likely to have access to pensions than men. As a result, the death of their husbands can lead to destitution for older women. The World Body also said child widows under 18 at the time of marriage often experience multiple rights violations and must cope with the impact of early marriage and widowhood. Ebonyi University urges striking staff to embrace dialogue. The management of Ebonyi State University, EBSU, has appealed to the three striking unions in the school to reconsider their action and embrace dialogue to drive home their demands. The management made the appeal in a statement issued by the university spokesperson, Mr. Patrick Itumo, in Abakaliki on Thursday. Three unions, the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, the Non-Academic Staff Union of Education and Other Association Institutions, NASU, and the National Association of Academic Technologists are at loggerheads with the management. The union had on Thursday embarked on indefinite strike over alleged non-payment of their 3 months outstanding salaries and some deductions in salary during COVID-19 in 2020, amongst others. The management is surprised that the unions decided to embark on strike at the time in spite of the deep and far-reaching consultation it had with them. During the consultations, management has also laid bare the financial status of the university. By the grace of God, management has been able to pay salaries up to March 2023. Governor David Umahi has promised to give EBSU a grant to pay the remaining April 2023 salary. The governing council, in its emergency meeting with the unions on May 9th, assured the unions of the unequivocal commitment of the management to settle the April and May 2023 salaries before the exit of this administration. The management is committed to settling the outstanding 20% arrears of salaries cut from the COVID-19 era. To ignore the appeals of EBSU Governing Council does not speak well, the spokesperson stated. Itumo urged the unions to reconsider their action and return back to work. Okuzu officers raid Anambra Bush where gunmen sue police army uniforms. Operatives of Rapid Response Squad Okuzu invaded a bush at Ifite Obunike Oyi local government area of Anambra State and found a mini factory where gunmen produce clothes, especially police and army uniforms. The place was also the hoodlums' home from where they launched attacks wearing the security agent's uniform. Items discovered at the site included a multipurpose sewing machine, ready to wear police and military uniforms, food items, and cooking utensils, as well as charms they believe protected them. Anambra State Police Public Relations Officer Tochukwu Ikenga described the Obunike discovery as a major breakthrough in the battle against crime in Anambra State. Ikenga said, following credible information to the police command from the residents of Anambra, we have identified some of their criminal hideouts, camps. The police operatives attached to Rapid Response Squad or KOZO in the early hours of today while in attempt to rescue 2 kidnapped victims stormed a camp at Ifite, Obunike, Oyi local government. The police neutralized the 2 of the armed men, recovered a black Lexus SUV with a lot of security uniforms, which comprises those of the police and military. The hoodlums apparently located to Obunike following the dislodgement from Lilu and Osumohu bushes in Ihiala local government area. Now we move over to the foreign scene. Florida rejects Holocaust-ed textbooks in clampdown on woke instruction. Florida State Education Department rejected 2 new Holocaust-focused textbooks for classroom use while forcing at least 1 other textbook to alter a passage about the Hebrew Bible in order to meet state approval. The books were rejected as part of a broader review of new K-12 social studies material. According to documents provided by the state, the Education Department did not approve any new tests on the Holocaust this year, reached by the Jewish Telegraphic Agency. A spokesperson at the department's press office was unable to confirm whether there are older Holocaust textbooks already in use that can still be taught in the state. Under Republican Governor Ron DeSantis, the state has made an effort to clamp down on what he calls woke indoctrination, mostly regarding race and gender. The textbook rejection is the largest example of how that drive is affecting Jewish topics as well. One of this year's rejected Holocaust textbooks was called Modern Genocide, and the other was an online learning course titled History of the Holocaust. Both were intended for high school students. Another law called the Stop Woke Act bans educators from making students feel guilty or shame in relation to historical events. The state education department also forbids the instruction of critical race theory. In addition, Republicans in the state house have passed a bill that will forbid state-funded higher education institutions from teaching critical theory, a change that scholars say could threaten the teaching of Jewish studies. DeSantis has yet to sign that bill into law. This is where we draw the curtain on news updates on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. But before we leave, a quick look at the headlines. Court orders Anambra to release officials indicted by EFCC for corruption probe. Particulars of Kogi, Bayelsa, Imo governorship candidates out today, INEC. Women protest against harmful widowhood practices in Anambra. Ebonyi University urges striking staff to embrace dialogue. Okozo officers raid Anambra bush where gunmen sue police army uniforms. Florida rejects Holocaust ed textbooks in clampdown on woke instruction. You just listened to news update on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. News produced and read by Martin Ifan Shuku Ekezie. Thank you for listening. Good evening.
Listen to news updates on Ebona, the 103.5 FM immediately after Angeles, 6 o'clock a.m. and 6 o'clock p.m. weekdays. Stay tuned to be updated, to be informed. News updates, live reports. Ebona, the FM breaks the news with actualities.
I believe that people are hoping for a new Nigeria.
You can as well listen online via mixlr.com/GistFM. Man is a political animal. That's why we all have our views on politics. Political View comes to you at Ebona, the 103.5 FM with Martin Ifan Shuku Ekezie every Monday, 3 o'clock p.m. to 4:30 p.m. and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. It's all about the day-to-day activities in the Nigerian political space. Views of political actors from various political parties on political process. Views of labor leaders, and most importantly, your views. Views of the common Nigerian. Tune in to Ebona, the 103.5 FM, or you join online via mixlr.com/GistFM every Monday and Saturday. What are your political views? Keep a bet.
Your seatbelt as we take you on this smooth ride.
Let's go! It's the morning drive on 103.5 Ebona FM, keeping your morning engaging as we take you through the smoothest ride on radio
From 7 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
You're getting your morning inspired, be informed. Let's interact only on the morning drive.
Make it a date with Martin Ifan Shuku, aka Meta, from Monday to Friday from 7 a.m.
So guys,
to
like, subscribe, and share.
9:30
Right?
a.m.
Thank you.
on the morning drive. 103.5 Ebona.